Chicago's $6 billion Lincoln Yards Uber improvement is in converses with Get New funding after defers in getting endorsements from the city set the venture delayed. The third greatest U.S. city has been delayed to give grants for the 53 section of land improvement on the banks of the Chicago stream, set to turn into a day-to-day existence sciences center point, and engineer Real Cove is currently during the time spent recapitalizing the entire venture, said CEO Andy Glore. City Chairman Lori Lightfoot put a brake on our whole venture, he said in a meeting Monday, adding that the postpones put the task in a difficult spot by 3 years. She battled the turn of events, which is so confounding to me on the grounds that the financial effect as far as development occupations, long-lasting position and the capacity to contend with a few different urban communities. It's in the $8 to $10 billion in the event that you consider the whole. A representative with the city chairman's office wasn't quickly accessible for input. Authentic Straight is the engineer behind the flourishing Fulton Market locale in the West Circle, Chicago's most sultry housing market. Deferrals to the company's new Uber project are one more blow for the city, which has been delayed to recuperate from the pandemic. Understand more. Chicago faces well-established ills in shadow of Fortress Boeing misfortune. Lightfoot is in closing up her last week by office, abandoning a city wrestling with horror rates that eventually assumed in a part in her loss, denoting the initial time a chairman lost a reappointment bid starting around 1983. The flight of organizations like Flexible Investments Stronghold, Boeing Company what's more, Caterpillar Inc. from Chicago and its rural areas likewise managed a mental catastrophe for the city. Authentic Straight kicked things off on Lincoln Yards in 2021, with development then expected to endure over 10 years. The venture sits in a modern zone between two rich areas. The improvement incorporates 14 million square feet, with a huge spotlight on office and lab space, and upwards of 6,000 private units. One structure is currently finished, and the organization is in converses with different occupants on renting. Confidential Capital Glore said he as of now has renegotiating interest from private people, with which the organization needs to push ahead. He additionally added that Chicago had about 60 cranes in the air in 2017 and 2018 when Rahm Emanuel was City Hall leader. That dropped to a typical 11 or 12 during the Lightfoot organization. It's totally reasonable to say that assuming Rahm Emanuel was still City Hall leader, we could have 8 cranes up in the air in Lincoln Yards at the present time, he said. The Lincoln Yards project, which incorporates 14 million square feet of improvement with an emphasis on office and lab space, hasn't been without contention. Racial value bunches went against the city's portion of a specific kind of expense sponsorship to foster property in a rich piece of Chicago. Glore is hopeful that the undertaking will take off when City Chairman Brandon Johnson takes over the following week. Authentic Sound actually needs to get more allows, including those for framework. I can't say enough of my underlying gatherings with Brandon and his group, he said. I'm really supported that he figures out the significance of these huge improvements for Chicago.